should want it, but he does want it and doesn't work for it and then paints it onto himself.
Yeah. It's
So
Wizard
be
of
honest
Oz,
about that.
It's all of that.
Yeah.
He can't, who he is as a person physically is not impressive. He has an insane hairdo, an insane, crazy hairdo. And anybody else has that isn't already your favorite person, you make fun of it. People have for years and years because it's so ridiculous. He's peacocking. And these folks are pretending that it's not ridiculous. They are gaslighting you into thinking this is how people should look. They're gaslighting you into thinking he has a rippling physique. You could say he's confident. You could say he put little Marco in his place with words.
Yeah.
But he's not physically impressive, guys.
Yeah. And again, he doesn't need to be, but they pretend that he is. Anyway.
And you're stupid if you believe it.
100%. Now, that said, that is unfortunately all the time we have for the show. That's all the time we have for the Damage Report this week. Brett, thank you. As always, most of that I think went pretty smoothly. There were some sound effects that will haunt me for the rest of my life, but thank you for most of what you've done. Everyone, later on today, I'm gonna be leading the first hour of the TYT Power Panel. Jordan Ewell will be in studio. Francesca Fiorentini will be joining us. It's gonna be an awesome first hour, and I hope to see you all there. Between now and then, though, tyt.com/votetdr. Make sure you get those votes in. There are only a few more attempts, a few more opportunities. I'm going to give you reminders as much as I can, but that's what we've got for now. And for now, stay safe out there, stay sane out there. I'll see you soon.
Welcome. It's indisputable. I'm your host, Rashad Richey. Good to be with you. We have a lot on the agenda. Breaking down news of the day, none other than the incomparable Sharon Reed, host, commentator, Rebel HQ, contributor, superstar host of the Sharon Reed Show. Always a fascinating breakdown. Top story of the day, Donald Trump literally is saying if you put him back in power, he's going to come after those who tried to take him out. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene says they are trying, when I say they, she's saying Democrats, they are trying to assassinate Donald Trump. Here it is.
What happens if you become president again regarding them and the rest?
Well, let me tell you, I didn't want to. I thought it would be a terrible thing. And there were opportunities, obviously, and good, strong control. Everything was good, but I did not want to. And I thought it would be a terrible thing for our country. They don't care. These people are radical lunatics. They don't care. And they have to be very careful with what they're doing because it comes back to bite. And you're right about it. I had putting her, that would have been a horrible thing to do, I thought, but they don't mind doing it. And you're talking president, not, look, the wife of Bill Clinton would not have been a nice thing to do. But I felt that way. I really did. I felt that way. And she was quite nasty. And by the way, to this day, she talks about the election. Nobody goes after her. They go after conservative Republicans. They go after Christians. I mean, it's going to be a lot different out there. And I tell the Republicans, and I think I'm having an impact, a big impact. I tell them you better start fighting because, you're not going to have anything left if you don't. And we have some great people. You know them. Yeah, they're on your show a lot. We have some great Republicans, but they're realizing they're going to have to get tougher, and they will. It's happening.
You heard it. Donald Trump said it would be horrible. He wasn't going to do it. But put a full mask. There's more. So former President Donald Trump offered a warning on Thursday night for those involved in his criminal prosecutions. Now, remember, we said this here at Indisputable, that if you give Donald Trump power again, he's coming after those who tried to hold him accountable for abusing it. Trump faces 88 criminal indictments, criminal counts in four jurisdictions, has pleaded not guilty to all counts. Two of those cases revolve around his attempts to overturn the 2020 election. A third pertains to his retention of government material after leaving office. The trial in the fourth case is currently taking place in Manhattan, where he is charged with falsifying business records in order to disguise hush money payments during a campaign. Now, calling into Thursday's Greg Kelly reports, Trump railed against his cases. At one point, Greg Kelly played a clip of Hillary Clinton during one of the 2016 presidential debates. Quote, "It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country," Clinton said. And then Trump responds, "Because you'd be in jail." Now, if you remember, that was kind of an iconic moment for his campaign. It was quick, it seemed witty. If you weren't on his side, you may have even chuckled and said, that's different for a presidential debate. But see, at that point, I don't think everyone was aware of his extreme ego-driven personality. We all knew he was a narcissist, but he's a clinical narcissist. He tells a lie when the truth will do. That's how narcissistic he is. There's more. I think you locked up the election with that moment, Kelly told Trump, quote, but you didn't follow through on that. Yet they're trying to put you in jail. Now, my question is, you asked about that. You said, look, these are good people. I don't want to hurt them. And I kind of thought that was a very honorable thing to say. What happens if you become president again regarding them and the rest? Now, I want you to understand, this is called framing the question. Trump never said these things. He never said, they're good people. I'm not going to bother them. No, he tried to. Remember, he tried to coerce a foreign head of state to investigate his political rival, both father, son, Biden Jr. Remember? He also attempted to overthrow the actual government so he could remain in power. He was okay with somebody hanging his then vice president in order for us to not have order so he could remain in power. There's more. Trump, who is headed for a rematch in November's election against President Joe Biden, responded, well, let me tell you, I didn't want to. I thought it would be a terrible thing. And there were opportunities, obviously, in good, strong control. Everything was good, but I did not want to. And I thought it would be a terrible thing for our country. They don't care. These people are radical lunatics. They don't care. And they have to be very careful what they're doing because it comes back to bite. And you're right about it. I had plenty. I had putting her. That would have been a horrible thing to do, I thought. But they don't mind doing it. Trump went on to complain about Clinton was quite nasty. She was a nasty woman to him. Elsewhere in the interview, Kelly told Trump that Democrats want you dead. Now, understand this. Trump is on this show because they are coordinating a campaign here and a messaging routine. Please know, the guy who's interviewing him, he is posing questions that have already been fed to him. Trump is doing the interview intentionally to create a narrative. The narrative is to do one thing. It is to eliminate the last barrier for Donald Trump if he becomes president again. What is that barrier? The separation of powers. That is the barrier they would like to eliminate. So how are they doing it? They are crafting a strategic campaign on social media, alternative media, and mainstream media saying this: Donald Trump was a nice guy for 4 years. They have tried to do everything they could do against him, and now they would like to assassinate him. He has to be proactive. Remember the preemptive doctrine that was spewed by conservatives of old? This is another permeation of that. You see, we're in the middle of war, ladies and gentlemen, because the first casualty is truth. Here's what Marjorie Taylor Greene said in a separate interview at a separate time, but the messaging is the same. Here it is.
And here's the real truth. I agree with you. I think people are believing a complete conspiracy theory, thinking, oh, we're just going to win this election. Yeah, you're right. He is not invincible. He is a man. He's fighting as hard as possible. He's putting all he has into trying to win the election. But you also got to remember, he's at the same time he's trying to run for president again, he's having to put everything he has into defending himself against these rigged trials and this unbelievable perversion of our justice system. And the Democrats aren't sorry about it. They aren't going to back off of what they are doing. They literally want him dead. Benny Thompson introduced a bill to take away his Secret Service protection. That's how serious they are. They want President Trump dead. They want to lock him up in jail for the rest of his life so that he dies in jail. And they want to take away his Secret Service protection so that he is murdered somewhere in jail, possibly. This is how serious they are. Alex, I just want to tell everybody this before I go. We literally are living in this little bubble of time.
It is a messaging routine in order to create automated forgiveness for the insanity that he may try to pull if you give him power again. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene is obviously being, well, hyperbolic, and she's a liar. You see, the vast majority of Democrats don't want to take away Secret Service from Donald Trump. The presentation of the resolution she's referring to seeks to do so if Trump is convicted so that there's no case for Trump to be placed under house arrest, but to actually be placed in prison. All right? That is what the resolution seeks to do. Sharon, you have been in media for a long time and you understand messaging. You see these individuals on different sides of the planet, different platforms, but they are echoing the same sentiment. You know it is in preparation for something.
Yes, it's in preparation for a coup. The first one was an attempt, a dry run, didn't work. It was just not organized enough and not enough people in power who were on board, although the Secret Service did delete all those text messages like that. I mean, I think that this is indoctrination. Yes, I understand messaging, and indoctrination is a cousin of that. And that's what they're doing here, trying to indoctrinate people who don't want to or have less ability to think for themselves. And as far as the Secret Service goes, I want Donald Trump protected. I want him to have the finest. In fact, I know an agent who may be available who used to be on the detail of VP Harris, could perhaps transfer over to Donald Trump's team. But it's lunacy. And I really shouldn't even use that word, Dr. Ritchie. Just real quick, I think I've got to stop calling this craziness, because you're right, we're at war and we've got to prepare the arm to the, and I mean with every tool. I'm not saying pick up a gun, but I'm saying we have to prepare for this epic battle. Yeah, and as we always note, the first battle is the battle of truth. All right, Emory University, professors arrested, students assaulted, the state patrol coming into a private university campus by way of the governor, unheard of. Congressman Hank Johnson goes on record with me exclusively. Let me remind you of the footage. Here it is. Now let's go to Congressman Johnson.
Like you, I'm disturbed about what's been going on Emory University's campus and campuses across the country with heavy-handed law enforcement response to peaceful demonstrators, sweeping up anybody who is in the vicinity of those folks, using Gestapo tactics. Somebody was being restrained by Georgia State Patrol officers on the ground, and a Georgia State Patrol officer had his taser just repeatedly stunning that individual. I don't know what that individual could have been doing, having already been restrained on the ground. And there's simply no reason that, other than politics, that you would have the Georgia State Patrol down there on a private university's campus enforcing the right of the private property owner, Emory University. Something doesn't smell good about that.
Congressman Johnson also talked about the connection, obviously, to the governor's office to even activate the Georgia State Patrol to do such a thing. Here it is.
How does this happen, Congressman? And how does it happen so quickly?
Well, we probably have some positioned board of trustee members on Emory's board who put in a call to Brian Kemp saying that we got to do something about these animals down here on campus. And so then you have a politician who's running for higher office at some point, jumping on the bandwagon, and he's going to sell our young students out, accusing them of being anti-Semitic and violent. They're protesting their country's policies that are aiding and abetting the Netanyahu government, which is killing tens of thousands of innocent people, 70% of whom are women and children in Gaza. We have a governor that sacrifices them for his own political future, acting as a Trump Republican. If we let Trump get back in office, what we've seen on college campuses will spread and become common occurrence.
Democracy is the biggest policy item on the ballot for this election. Democracy itself. Now, you must find it ironic that the same individuals who are calling these students terrorists are the same ones calling the terrorists from January 6th heroes, patriots, good Americans. Johnson issued the following statement late Thursday. I am disturbed to learn that Governor Brian Kemp has deployed the Georgia State Patrol onto the Emory University campus. Once again, a reminder, Emory University is a private institution, private property here. The mandate of GSP to, quote, investigate traffic crashes and enforce traffic and criminal laws on the state's roads. Georgia State Patrol has no place on the college campus. Literally by statute, they're not supposed to be there. They have a statutory mandate of what their jurisdiction is, and it does not include private universities. There's more. And neither do outside agitators who seek to usurp the peaceful protests against the Netanyahu government's killing of tens of thousands of innocent Gazans by giving life to a false narrative that the protest movement is violent and anti-Semitic. Those participants who seek to intimidate, threaten, or demean our Jewish brothers and sisters have no place among the legitimate protesters. Reminiscent of the anti-war and civil rights protests on college campuses in the 1960s and 70s, today's student protesters have a First Amendment right to protest against what they see as an unjust policies and practices of their government. I fully support their right to peacefully protest on campus, and I call for the outside agitators to stay away from our college campuses. He provided a lot of context in the interview about those agitators, and literally in our production meeting this morning, we saw one of them, and an agent provocateur is what we would call them. Individual who comes to a rally, acts as if he's part of the righteous movement, starts to act in a way that is extreme and erratic, and then all of a sudden leaves. Well, that's the guy that makes the evening news. And they say, you see, they're violent, but he was an agitator. This is real, okay? Now, as college students demand divestment from Israel and protest other causes around the country this week, police crackdowns sanctioned by university administrations have followed in quick succession. In the latest dramatic example, the Georgia State Patrol, Atlanta Police Department, and Emory Police Department officers broke up a pro-Palestine tent encampment at Emory University in Atlanta on Thursday, hours after students set it up on the school's main quad. You know, there's no violence on the school campus. Have you heard of a report of violence and then they call the police? No. The only time there's conflict is when the police arrive. You see, they are engaging in civil disobedience. Some of them aren't even engaged in civil disobedience because it's not unlawful to assemble where they are assembling. As one student said, they changed the rules and made it retroactive in order to say that we are now committing criminal trespass on property that they pay for. Their tuition pays the salary of every single professor, administrator, and staff member, and the property itself. That is your number one client. Without the student, you have no university. Without the student, you have no learning. How do you get to a place, I'm talking to every college president who's engaged in this kind of behavior, how do you get to a place where you literally are willing to take a stand against the very machine that makes the car run? There's more. Let's put it up. Videos online have shown police bringing students to the ground to detain them. Students who were also protesting the university's involvement in Atlanta for a police training facility known as Cop City, we've covered that extensively here, alleged that police used tear gas We were able to confirm chemical weapons were used. They used tear gas to disperse the crowd. One clip, which Congressman Johnson referred to, showed police tasing a possible student who was already handcuffed and on the ground. They are trained to not tase while the metal is on the wrist. Per Common Ground News, Emory University's Vice President for Public Safety, Sharon Reed, stated that despite multiple dispersal orders issued to the encampment due to trespassing, protesters were arrested when they ignored the orders. Additionally, the Georgia State Patrol reported using a taser on one individual who resisted arrest amid protesters throwing bottles at officers and refusing to disperse. Elliott clarified that the individual tased was not affiliated with Emory University, despite some reports in the council online referring to them as a student. Ms. Elliott, I'm going to keep your picture up because I believe you are a decent person. You are part of middle management, and what did they do? They told you to go out there and say something. Okay? They told you to go out there and say something. I want to say this to you, ma'am. You know this is wrong. You know why I know you know it's wrong? Because I looked at your birth date. I looked at your birthday. Police deployed rubber bullets. On Thursday to disperse the crowd. Mehdi Oliver, the editor-in-chief of Emory Will, told CNN on Friday that the school accused many protesters of not being affiliated with the school and trespassing, as well as disruptive behavior like throwing bottles. Oliver said they've confirmed 20 of the 28 detained were affiliated with the school. 20 of the 28 detained were in fact affiliated with the school. 2 professors were among those arrested as well. Here it is.
It was a peaceful protest until they started fighting troopers. It's a peaceful protest. I agree with you, the majority.
I reacted impulsively. I apologize. Please remove the handcuffs.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Is there anything I can do for you right now?
Yes, can you call the philosophy department office and tell them I've been arrested?
Philosophy department?
Yes. Call the philosophy department office.
I will. What's your...
I'm chair of the philosophy department.
I got you.
President-elect.
Put up the picture. You know, it's not trespassing when you work there. Professor Carolyn Folan and Chair Noel McCaffrey were detained by police. The shocking video captured by CNN depicts Emory University economics professor approaching officers detaining students, expressing concern over their treatment. There is nothing illegal about that. Following an exchange, an officer informs her she is now under arrest and grabs her arm. Though it's unclear from the video if there was any physical contact from her. After she refuses to go to the ground, the officer knocks her to the ground. You see, he's a feckless coward. That made him feel good about himself. Another officer arrives and helps pin this professor as they cuff her. The professor screams in the video that the second officer knocked her head into the concrete, and she repeatedly says she is a professor, as horrified students called the police fascist. The professor can be heard at one point saying that she does apologize to the officer for acting impulsively. Noel McAfee, the chair of the philosophy department. She's the chair of the philosophy department at Emory University, was detained during the protest. We don't know if they were charged. We're trying to get information currently. Put up the president. Where's your leadership, sir? Gregory L. Finvis is the president. When I tell you this is more than disappointing, let me tell you why I'm encouraged. And it did not hit me until this morning. I was really, really struggling this morning. And as I'm struggling to figure out, how can I do more? How can we make more of an impact? How can we show our support more? Something came to me. While this is bad, the energy that these police officers and boards and presidents and governors are launching against the very idea of an idea is doing one thing, is making everybody pay attention. And when everybody pays attention, you have a movement. Sharon, thoughts here.
My thoughts are this. Number one, America is doomed because America fails to study and fully comprehend and make enough changes from a dark past. When you show a philosophy chair, the woman in the suit there, the blue suit, Dr. Ritchie, in cuffs, and I know you're working to learn more, I said, wow, isn't that ironic, sad and ironic, if you'll allow me, just a reading of what is the study of philosophy. Look what we're talking about here. Fundamental questions about the nature of ourselves and the world we live in. Wide-ranging, an emphasis on clarity, precise, careful, rigorous arguments. If you look up the definition of college, it's about questioning, exerting one's independence, asking relevant questions. And I don't believe that you should infiltrate, if you will, because too much was done of that in the 60s and the civil rights movement. But you talked about agitators. How easy it would be for a protection unit to just move within the peaceful protest and identify these so-called agitators that are looking for that headline on the local news to prove a point to the donors Congressman Hank Johnson so eloquently talked about. This is so sick. There is no free thinking on these college campuses. It's a fraud. You are going to do as we say and think what we think, and we're going to ignore everything else. But these kids aren't going away. They're brave.
Yes, they are brave, and we stand in solidarity with them. You know, I've spoken with college presidents off record, and while the civil unrest is not happening to the degree that is happening at some campuses, I made it very clear, if you treat those students that way, friendship or not, I'm going to have to come at you. There are ways to do this. One, give them room. Give them room. Two, if they don't want to go in the classroom, if they want to stay inside or outside of the assembly area, tell the professors, get your book, get your whiteboard, and take your ass outside and teach. Go to where they are. Give them room. They're not destroying the campus. They're not harming anybody. Meet them where they are. Teach still. You don't have to be inside of a 4-wall building or room in order to teach. And let this be a teaching moment. Allow this moment to permeate inside of the curriculum because it's real. Aren't you preparing them for real life? All right. We'll bring you updates as they come. Ohio man, a black man in handcuffs said, "I can't breathe" before dying. Here it is.
No, we're going outside. We're going outside. No, you ain't killing me. You ain't killing me tonight. You ain't killing me. No, you guys are killing me. They're on here. They're trying to kill me. 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 They're trying to get sprayed. Don't spray. Call the sheriff. Don't spray him. Call the sheriff. If I kill me, call the sheriff. Get over it. Okay. Calm down. Calm down. Okay. Morning, custody. Henry. 20 custody. 2029. Stop fighting. I can't read. Get off of that. I can't breathe. That's the story right there. I'll be glad I appreciate it for you. Okay. I can't breathe.
You're fine. Yep. I've always wanted to be in a bar fight. I don't know if this counts.
Hey, John. Breathing.
Died. Put up the picture. How many times have we reported on something just like this, where the victim says, they are going to kill me. The police are going to kill me. And it seems so out of context that that's going to happen. And it ends up happening the exact way they said it was going to happen, right in front of us. You just saw it. NBC News reports that Canton Police Department, Ohio, released body cam footage and 2 911 call recordings captured the night of April 18th when a 53-year-old man named Frank Tyson died after repeatedly saying, quote, "I can't breathe," while handcuffed, hands behind his back and pinned to the ground. The video shows Tyson lying motionless on the bar floor over 5 minutes before officers decided to check his pulse. Approximately 8 minutes before CPR is initiated. In the nearly 36-minute video, police respond to the scene of a single-car crash to find a downed power pole and an unoccupied vehicle with the driver's side door open and an airbag deployed. A man in a white van whose face is blurred drives by and tells the police that the man responsible is right there at the lodge down the street. Police identified Bo Schoenig and Camden Birch as the main officers who were responding to the call. Upon entering the lodge, a woman requests Tyson's removal. As officers approach him, Tyson knocks over a bar stool and demands to see the sheriff, leading to an attempt to handcuff him. The incident is recorded by the body cam. Tyson shouts, "Call the sheriff," several more times and continues to say, "They're trying to kill me." After handcuffing Tyson, an officer places his knee on his upper body as Tyson repeats, "I can't breathe. I can't breathe." Several times, despite Tyson's pleas, an officer instructs him to calm down and stop resisting. Tyson reiterates his inability to breathe, mentioning pressure on his neck as the officer's knee remains for about 30 seconds. Shortly after the officer removes his knee, Tyson again expresses difficulty breathing, prompting someone to tell him, "You're fine, shut the up," end quote. After Tyson appears to stop moving, an officer is seen looking through Tyson's wallet and talking to bystanders. Tyson appears to be motionless on the floor for more than 5 minutes. While at least one officer talks with bar patrons, at one point the officer jokes, quote, "I've always wanted to be in a bar fight. I don't know if this counts." You killed a man in a bar. So I don't know if that was your fantasy as well, but that's what you did. When one of the officers returns in the frame, he asks whether Tyson has calmed down. The irony of this, he's motionless. If Tyson has calmed down and whether he's breathing, the officer checks it for a pulse. The officers later perform chest compressions. He's unresponsive. Canton police said in the news release Friday that officers had responded to a report of a one-vehicle crash at 8:15 p.m. Thursday. They said witnesses directed them to AMVETS, where they made contact with Tyson, and he struggled with them. Quote, shortly after securing him in cuffs, officers recognized that Tyson had become unresponsive. End quote. The news release said that CPR and several doses of Narcan were administered before Canton Fire Department medics arrived, and that Tyson was then taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead at 9:18 p.m. His cause of death is pending, according to them, said Harry Campbell, chief investigator for the Stark County Coroner's Office. The police department said in a statement that it immediately contacted the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation to conduct an independent investigation. Without naming Tyson, the Bureau confirmed that its investigation of a fatal officer-involved critical incident is active and ongoing. Put him up. You have Canton Mayor William Sherrod II on the left stated that he met with members of Tyson's family to share the newly released information and offered his condolences in person. He emphasized transparency and stated that the investigation is being handled by BCI, with the city providing all necessary information. Police Chief Gabbard, John Gabbard on the right, said he extended his deepest sympathy to those close to Tyson, adding, based on experience, I'm confident that BCI will conduct a very thorough review. Both mayor and chief said because of the pending investigation, they are limited as to what they can and cannot say. The officers, both of whom joined the department in 2022, are assigned to the Traffic Bureau, have been placed on paid administrative leave pending an investigation under department policy. You know, if you believe they were human, anytime a human being says, I can't breathe, just believe them. Just believe them. Shift the handcuffs from the back to the front. Stop pressing against the areas where they have to breathe. Assume perhaps they may even have a medical condition that you are unaware of. As long as you believe they're human, you respond in humanity. See how that works? But if you believe they're subhuman, if you don't believe they are worthy of existing, then you ignore very simple, very routine cries for help. Sharon, we are here again. Literally this statement, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, over and over again. Officers keep ignoring it, people are dying. Officers not held accountable, same story over and over again. What say you?
I say we need to look at an NPR study from more than a decade ago about the racial empathy gap, where they took pictures of people experiencing pain and they showed it to participants. And do you know that white people in the photos and videos who were shown perhaps having a needle put to their skin, people identified greatly with? They had wide-ranging reactions. They could see the pain. But when the videos were shown of Blacks in the same predicaments, wasn't there. And ironically, it didn't matter who was watching the video, because Blacks too often have been indoctrinated to believe this lie. It is disgusting. We're human too. And as far as the officer goes, I do want to tackle that, Doc. The officer who's on camera talking about wanting to be in a bar fight, thinking that he's, a Jimmy Kimmel spinoff. This is exactly what you've been talking about, even recently on this show. It's a throwback to Jim Crow, where Blacks were lynched and there was a great picnic and fun times and dancing at the event. It was an event. And that's what this officer was doing here, an event and a celebration, less than human. Keep your condolences, brass, because it's not honorable.
I really do hope that statement comes back to bite him. To me, is evidence of state of mind. It goes to his state of mind, okay? So as we follow the story, that statement may come back. I'm on the other side. It's indisputable, stick and stay.
Magic. It's showtime. And say 45 minutes. I'm hosting today. Now I know what you're thinking, Jerry, your face is already perfect, but you know what? I still need to apply some makeup. I went through this process, right? A few years ago, when I realized that I was gonna have to wear makeup on the show. I had to go through finding out what my undertones were. You guys know what those are? I got my MAC Cosmetics. It says SPF 15 foundation, broad spectrum. But apparently what I have is red undertones, and I think pores are not supposed to be seen. I need all these things to be confirmed for me. These sponge things don't work for me. You gotta use your hands. At least I do. That's how the magic really happens. So we're gonna go through a tutorial, how to make the magic happen from beautiful to beautifuler. Let's go. I've already been moisturized, that's the first thing. But moisturization already happened. We go raw. All hands. Pick up a couple streaks. This is the guy we're putting on makeup. We got dots. There's some shiny points that generally happen. First of all, here we go. You dust here. I'm putting way too much, but you dust. Oh, get the excess off. You don't want chunky powder. There's like a T-zone, I think, right? Mine is a double T-zone. Because I went middle and another cross. Make sure your nose isn't all shiny. People get on you for it. They'll say, that's not a good point you made on there, JR. Your nose is shiny. You guys are picky like that sometimes. I think that's about it, fellas and ladies. See you guys next time. Bitsies. All right, welcome back. A lot of show left. Let me read some of these comments. Before I do, last day to vote, indisputable because of you. You and you has been nominated for a Shorty Award. Very thankful for the nomination. Please continue to vote for indisputable. tyt.com/vote-IND. You can vote once a day. This is the last day, all right? tyt.com/vote-IND. Love you to life. We appreciate the continued support. All right. Yep. Jay Costa, I wonder who's worse, the narcissist or the person who knows they're narcissist and still allows their message to breathe without correction. That creative drag in MTG is the reason Pop-Tarts have instructions and irons, because they say don't iron the shirt while it's on your body. Yeah, Lynn says, unfortunately, we know if cops continue to interact with cops on protests at some point, will result in death. It's kind of like the law of statistics, right? Like if you continue to do this over and over again, that disaster is more likely to happen. Yep. Neil Whittington, and thank you for that, Neil. As always, great to catch a new clue with TYT. Supreme Court better keep their jobs. And mine went back in Trump. Dictators, no Supreme Court above them. Yeah. I agree. U.S. combat _vet seeking the U. 2 big sergeants needed to throw down and pin that female professor. Yeah. Charlotte Furlow, thank you for that. Member for Wama, you're awesome, doctor. You're awesome as well. Thank you so much for the continued support. Johnny Lambert, welcome to Indisputable. We appreciate you joining the train here. The Jag, member for 7 months. Cops love protests because they don't have to come up with phony pretense for violence. It's you got to laugh, not to cry. And Ghost Dog TV. The point of crushing protest is to crush protest. That's it. That's right. They want to crush an idea. The protest is a permeation of the idea. All right, got something for you, ladies and gentlemen. I wish Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday?
I feel free. Back off. I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
What's wrong with you people?
Is this the best thing you have to do today?
No, I had a fine day. I don't want to have anything to do with you.
We don't either.
Stop running your mouth at me and I won't react to you.
Got it.
I won't more than rip off your head and spit down your throats.
Got it. Yeah, we're sorry.
You cyclists screw up all the streets.
Okay.
Like, you're unbearable. You run around in your spandex and your baggy little helmets, and then you run your mouth at me as I try to drive to work. You're such bitches.
Sorry about that.
I'm sorry Elon Musk said things that hurt your feelings.
No, we were just trying to poke fun at the gas pedal issue.
Yeah, you're trying to be a bitch.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, We were honestly, it was just the recent the gas pedal headlines.
The recall. People when you're on your bike as they drive by.
Well, we get heckled a lot by people in cars, and we're sorry. We're just being stupid kids. Yeah. Honestly.
Someday you're gonna say the wrong thing to the wrong dude.
Understood.
Might have been that dude.
Understood. Yeah. Sorry about that. Have a good day.
Put up the picture full mask here. Sir, just because your vehicle belongs in a video game, it doesn't mean that you are playing one. Now you're blocking the bike lane. These gentlemen cannot proceed because of you. And they were very respectful given the extreme aggression that you showed. And sir, here's the other thing. If you really felt this way, and I'm not encouraging violence, I don't condone violence here. But if you really felt that way, it was nothing but as an opportunity. You stayed inside of the car and proceeded to say what you were going to do to them and that they're going to run up on the wrong person. Sharon, these individuals kind of baffle me because if, I don't want to exert my energy on individuals that I don't really feel that way about. And I feel that way about you, let's talk about it in a different way. But if I don't, I need to keep moving. I got somewhere I got to be. This is insane to me.
It is insane. And I think it serves as a warning to mothers everywhere who have allowed their adult sons to live in the basement too long and spend their money on these tanks. Right. These are tanks. A fool, really a feckless fool in a tank spouting off. But I'm also concerned that they're rather carefree. And I think you're right, very respectful, the response from the cyclist. It didn't match the energy. I didn't want him hurt in any way, but I'm just saying, I actually believe the things he was saying. A sincere sorry to this perp, this idiot perp, this G.I. Joe pretend perp.
Right.
This is what we've trained people to believe.
Yeah, so sad. All right, this is an update to a story, hell of a thing. AI out of control. A teacher, a physical ed teacher, arrested because of AI against the principal. We brought this story. The speculation back then was, well, it could be AI, and some said it could not. But according to the report, it was AI. I want to bring you to that. Remember, here it is.
I seriously don't understand why I have to constantly put up with these dumbasses here every day. Between these ungrateful black kids who can't test their way out of a paper bag, or these teachers who don't get it, how hard is it to get these students to meet their grade level expectations? Lawrence and Ravenel should have never been hired. And don't let me get started on DJ. I'm going to drag his black ass out of here one way or another. I'm going to get something to stick. I'm just so sick of the inadequacies of these people. And if I have to get one more complaint from one more Jew in this community, I'm going to join the other side.
I mean, damn. Put it up full mass. Okay. This story actually has more twists and turns than the twists and turns initially mentioned. NBC News reports that Dazon Darian, who's on the left, a physical education teacher and athletic director at Pikesville High, this is in Maryland, has now been arrested for allegedly using AI to fake Principal Eric Iceworth's, who was on the right, voice in January. The fabricated audio containing racist and anti-Semitic language purportedly spoken by the principal was said to be retaliation against the principal by Mr. Darian. Mr. Darian now faces charges including disrupting school activities, theft, retaliation against the witness, and stalking. Baltimore County Police Chief Robert McCullough told reporters, quote, "We now have conclusive evidence that the recording was not authentic. It's been determined that the recording was generated through the use of artificial intelligence technology." Baltimore County Public School Superintendent Dr. Miriam Rogers said about the development, quote, "As you can imagine, this has been a very difficult time for the Pikesville High School community. The principal, his family, Rogers said the school district will seek to fire Darian. On Wednesday afternoon, a judge issued an arrest warrant for Mr. Darian, who was apprehended the following morning at Baltimore Washington International Thurgood Marshall Airport. McCullough stated that Darian, scheduled to fly to Houston, was questioned by security about his gun packing procedure, which prompted a check of police records revealing the warrant, culminating in his arrest. McCullough refrained from speculating on whether Darian intended to flee. According to the arrest warrant, he and the principal have been at odds over, quote, work performance challenges, with Darian's contract possibly, quote, not being renewed next semester. Through the investigation, detectives alleged that Mr. Darian, who was the athletic director at the school, made the recording to retaliate against the principal, who had launched an investigation into the potential mishandling of school funds. NBC News reports that according to police, the principal was investigating a $1,916 payment allegedly authorized by Mr. Darian for an assistant girls soccer coach who, according to the head coach of players, never assisted the team. The principal also reprimanded Darian for firing the coach without his approval. The principal was widely admonished when the viral audio, seemed to capture him spewing the hateful rhetoric, mocking Black people and Jewish people. He insisted it was the recording, which was sent to Darian and two other teachers the night of January 16th, was fake. The audio spread quickly, however. Social media had profound repercussions, causing disruptions in the PHS staff and students, according to the arrest warrant. The principal has been on paid administrative leave per the direction of the superintendent since the recording went viral. District appointees have run the school since then, and the temporary administrators will stay on the job until the end of the year, Rogers said. Quote, "We will work with the principal Icework and the Pikesville community concerning next year." So they're going to let it ride out this year. Investigators linked the email tjfoust9@gmail.com, which was used to send the audio, to an internet server provider registered to Darian's grandmother. That's according to the warrant. So that is their circumstantial evidence and connection. The recovery phone number for the Google account had a 213 area code that was also registered to Mr. Darian, a Southern California native, police said. A forensic analyst contracted by the FBI also found that the recording contained traces of AI-generated content with human editing after the fact, the arrest warrant said. Darian was also shown to have used the Baltimore County Public Schools network to access OpenAI tools and Microsoft Bing chat services on December 18th and 19th and January 15th, the day before the audio clip was sent out, police said. So there's a lot happening here. Obviously, this is a sad story, and the deep fake of this, because when we first heard it, it seemed legit. Now, naturally, you can't go all out and say it's 100% until there's confirmation, but it seemed legit. So much so that elected officials in the state literally said the guy needs to resign. It also seemed as if he would say something like this, given some of the historical dynamics connected to his leadership and the back and forth that ensued. But the reality is, according to the evidence, this did not happen. They're not congruent. There's no special training here. This is a part. Darian is going to jail, all right? He's going to be prosecuted. He will never teach again. Justice is going to be handed swiftly to him. But when I read that he had no specialized training, that all of this was open access AI, and he simply figured out how to do it, that part is especially troubling. One is the microcosm, it's the incident, it is sad, it is wrong, it is in fact criminal in my opinion as well. He's being held accountable. The macrocosm is the policy dynamic. The companies that make these tools must bear some level of regulatory responsibility. The methodology in order to download these tools, the government's responsiveness to this kind of technology. So while governments would like to, ban TikTok, have they dealt with deep fake AI and the actual carnage it could create in the person's life? So I ask these policy questions authentically. Sharon, hell of a thing. Now we see what we were talking about last year in real time. We literally said last year something like this could happen.
And here we are. And I think you're right, but I don't look for Congress, the government, or anyone to intervene here, just like when folks are indoctrinated on the World Wide Web, Google, Facebook, these other people are not held accountable, even when innocent people die and their families are seeking something to make it make sense. AI is the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
It just is. And in this case, there were a lot of people. In fact, I know a very loud, obnoxious woman who appeared on this network who said, oh, no way, this isn't fake. Sounds just right. And you might be looking at her. And what do you say now? He lost his job. Ooh. What do you say? The damage is done. But that's why I always say, Dr. Ritchie, opinions are my own. I don't leave the
That's
network
right,
hanging.
too.
But I did disclaimer, this is just my opinion, not TYT.
Yeah, we all deal in opinions, but damn,
Sorry.
The man had no specialized training at all and was able to pull this off. Wow. All right, we got more on the other side. It's indisputable. Stick and stay.
Magic. It's showtime. And say 45 minutes. I'm hosting today. Now I know what you're thinking, Jerry, your face is already perfect, but you know what? I still need to apply some makeup. I went through this process, right? A few years ago when I realized that I was gonna have to wear makeup on the show. I had to go through finding out what my undertones were. You guys know what those are? I got my MAC Cosmetics. It says SPF 15 foundation, broad spectrum. But apparently what I have is red undertones, and I think pores are not supposed to be seen. I need all these things to be confirmed for me. These sponge things don't work for me. You gotta use your hands. This I did. That's how the magic really happens. So we're gonna go through a tutorial how to make the magic happen from beautiful to beautifuler. Let's go. I've already been moisturized. That's the first thing. But moisturization already happened. We go raw. All hands. Pick up a couple streaks. This is the guy we were putting on makeup. We got dots. There's some shiny points that generally happen. First of all, here we go. You dust here. I'm putting way too much, but you dust. Oh, get the excess off. You don't want chunky powder. There's like a T-zone, I think, right? Mine is a double T-zone. Because I went middle and another cross. Make sure your nose isn't all shiny. People get on you for it. They'll say, that's not a good point you made on there, JR. Your nose is shiny. You guys are picky like that sometimes. I think that's about it, fellas and ladies. See you guys next time. Bitsies.
All right, welcome back. We got some amazing comments. Thank you everyone for joining the convo. Lynn, I guess someone with thin skin has a need to surround themselves with a cyber truck. Drums of liberation. Nothing but ass and opportunity. That's right. But won't because he's got too much money. Yeah. Michael Martin, he's been laughed at too many times in that truck. I think it was just getting to him, right? He just couldn't take it anymore. All right. And yeah, that's what I said. David Morris, that audio is very convincing. We face a scary future. Yeah. And it's like, okay, we see the train wreck happening, slow motion. You got some time to figure something out to minimize damage. Nothing is done. All right. And that's so true. Nauseated. I got it. Cybertrucks are what you get when you ask an 8-year-old to draw RoboCop's personal vehicle. To pick up Robo Kids from Robo School, but made the PlayStation 1 graphics. Yes, you nailed that, man. The part where you said, but made with the PlayStation 1 graphics, that was flawless. I appreciate that. All right. What if I told you, what if I said to you, adults, all right, grown folk refuse to stop a fight with children that ended in a fatality? Put up the institution. I'm taking you to Los Angeles. A Washington preparatory high school student died in a fight that broke out in front of an adult who refused to stop it. After school on April 15th, the fight broke out a couple of blocks from the prep high school. In a cell phone video of the incident, an adult can be heard saying off camera just before the fight began, "Let them fight. Let them fight. If they want to fight, let them fight. Police, I'm not breaking up. Ish. I don't give a up." That's it. End quote. The adult who apparently declined to intervene was a member of the, quote, Safe Passages program, designed to make sure students get to and from school unharmed. According to students and a senior union official, less than 10 seconds after the fight began, 3 shots rang out and the student was struck. He collapsed and was pronounced dead at the hospital. His name has not been released. President of the Associated Administrators of Los Angeles, Neri Piez, told LA Times, quote, "We preach to parents. We stress to parents that we are there and our priority is to the safety of the students." And that incident shows otherwise. Adding that 2 Safe Passages workers were in the video. Quote, and you can clearly hear the audio where the person said that he was not going to intervene. He said, "Let them fight if they want to fight. So that's a problem," end quote. The Safe Passages, who could be school employees, by the way, or volunteers, both are allowed to engage in the program, are in place to aid the students in deterring and de-escalating heated disputes and contacting law enforcement if needed. The Times describes, quote, "They were just standing there watching. I feel like your job is to break up that stuff." That's what a student said, Pierre Clark, emphasizing that in school, nobody checks you when you walk in. Anybody can walk in there, anybody, and nobody would know. Jason Muck of the LA School Police Association believes a student may have had the gun on campus all week prior to the shooting. Quote, "This is stuff that was brewing all week long," he said. "And if we had an officer on campus, the officer, could have gotten wind of this and maybe this could have been prevented." You know, unfortunately, you all don't have a great track record. You know what could have also happened? The cop could have shot everybody. And that's the problem. If you all had a better track record, I would concur. Unfortunately, you don't. Put it up full mass. Los Angeles Unified School District Superintendent Alberto M. Carvejo. District officials have refused to say who was responsible for the safe passages at the school and how it was organized, but said this week that an outside vendor had been helping to staff the safe passages program at the school. So they refuse to say who it is, but they talk about a third-party vendor, mysterious. They won't say who it is as if somehow they can't figure it out, all right? These are children, these individuals put children at risk. And naturally, we know that there's a fatality now because of it. And literally, this is a position of public trust. The very thing that they are designed to do, they did not do, and it led to the death of another child. You want to play politics with that? We're going to bring you the updates. We will bring you updates as they come. Sharon, thoughts here?
It's disgraceful, and I pray that this is an adult failure in the moment and not an overall moral failure from within. But my gut tells me it is. It's despicable, and now there's a loss of life, and for what? For what? Are you proud of yourself? It's an open-ended question, and I think we all know the answer.
Right.
Sick.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know why we don't have an arrest report for contributory negligence, child negligence, et cetera. So those are the things that we need to continue to search for as the story develops. All right. A Girl Scout fined $400 for selling Girl Scout cookies in her mama's driveway. Put up the picture full mask. What kind of insanity is this? In Wyoming, 13-year-old girl and her mother were hit with a $400 fine for selling cookies from a stand in her grandparents' driveway. Emma, who has been a Girl Scout since she was 6 years old, was aiming to sell 1,200 boxes of cookies so she could receive a $350 credit for summer camp. All right? Erica Fairbanks McCarroll and her daughter Emma were selling cookies after school on Erica's parents' property along Main Street in Pinedale when they were approached by a code enforcement officer on March 13th. Fairbanks McCarroll told DailyMail.com the woman who was driving the town's animal control vehicle and did not identify herself as code enforcement told them they could not block the sidewalk. The mother and daughter pulled back their stand. Okay, they're compliant. They pulled back the stand and continued to sell cookies for 2 more days before the woman showed up again and handed them citations. Quote, "We sold for about 1 hour and 30 minutes when she showed up and handed me 3 parking tickets totaling $400, Fairbanks McCarroll said on Facebook. Quote, "I responded that I had complied with what she had asked and had moved off the sidewalk. She said the tickets aren't just for being on the sidewalk and that this was for your daughter's safety." Fairbanks McCarroll was given a $100 fine for parking on the sidewalk, a $150 fine for unlawful obstruction, a $150 fine for municipal code violation that said there needs to be at least 5 feet of unobstructed passage on the sidewalk. Fairbanks McCarroll said, quote, "She did not identify herself as code enforcement. She did not say what I was doing was illegal. She didn't say she would or even could write me a ticket. She didn't even say I couldn't sell there anymore. All she said really was, you shouldn't block the sidewalk." When the code enforcement officer told her the Fairbanks probably would not like her blocking their property, Fairbanks McCarroll said, quote, "I responded with the Fairbanks are my parents and they don't care," end quote. She then said, quote, "Okay, well, I just recommend you don't block the sidewalk," and left. All right, so you get what's happening? Animal control, because she's driving an animal control vehicle. She tells the child, the Fairbanks, they're not gonna like this. You need to move. She's like, well, those are actually my parents, so they're okay with this. There's more. The code enforcement officer, right? Admitting later to my brother that she was having a bad day on Friday and that she didn't realize my brother had any siblings, the mother said. Is that to say that if she knew I was really part of the Fairbanks family, she would not have written me the tickets? Fairbanks McCarroll told her brother, got the matter put on the agenda for a town council meeting, and at the meeting, the mayor dismissed their concerns. Fairbanks McCarroll obtained a lawyer, and they were able to get the 2 tickets dismissed. She ended up paying one of the $150 fines rather than going to trial because it would have been more costly. Let's put up the mayor. This is Mayor Matt Murdock. Michelle Smith, who is not pictured, runs the animal control and code enforcement for Pinedale. The town of Pinedale released a statement insisting the officer was acting under official capacity when she approached Fairbanks McCarroll and warned her several times to move before issuing citations. Quote, she received 2 verbal requests to relocate a stand outside of the WYDOT right-of-way off the sidewalk and close to her parents' private property, the town said. Despite these requests, the stand remained on the sidewalk, prompting the issuance of 3 citations for obstructing the sidewalk. Can we put up the picture of the Girl Scout cookies again? Yeah. Mr. Mayor, you all have lost y'all damn way. Okay? You all look silly as hell. Just ridiculous. You don't put your town on the map on some dumb ish. We all know what's going on. I know what's going on. She wanted some free damn Girl Scout cookies and she didn't get them. That's what happened here. Somebody wanted it to be on the tape. But this 13-year-old is not corrupt. Sharon, I don't know what else to say. She pulled up on the girl 3 or 4 times, didn't get Girl Scout cookies. All of a sudden, there's a penalty.
And that's why I know there's more to the story here. I think that the code enforcement wanted cookies. And I think the Girl Scouts said cash only. Animal control had credit cards and desperately wanted those cookies. So yes, was having a bad day. The Karenicity is just, I hope you trademark that, Doc, because this is here to stay, okay? And it needs to be studied in the American Medical Journal, all that stuff. It's got to be studied.
It does. And interestingly enough, there is some credible peer-reviewed published research about Karens.
Yeah.
That's available.
Study what's in the Girl Scout cookies too while you're at it, because it is causing these kinds of outlandish reactions.
Yeah.
Does she want? I got a box around here. If she wants, that's easy to solve. Easy to solve.
Very easy. All right. Okay. We got more on the other side. It's indisputable, stick and stay.
Magic. It's showtime. And say 45 minutes. I'm hosting today. Now I know what you're thinking, JR, your face is already perfect, but you know what? I still need to apply some makeup. I went through this process, right? A few years ago, when I realized that I was gonna have to wear makeup on the show. I had to go through like finding out what my undertones were. You guys know what those are? I got my MAC Cosmetics. It says SPF 15 foundation, broad spectrum. But apparently what I have is red undertones, and I think pores are not supposed to be seen. I need all these things to be confirmed for me. These sponge things don't work for me. You gotta use your hands. This I did. That's how the magic really happens. So we're gonna go through a tutorial, how to make the magic happen from beautiful to beautifuler. Let's go. I've already been moisturized, that's the first thing. But moisturization already happened. We go raw. All hands. Pick up a couple streaks. This is the guy way of putting on makeup. We got dots. There's some shiny points that generally happen. First of all, here we go. You dust here. I'm putting way too much, but you dust. Oh, get the excess off. You don't want chunky powder. There's like a T-zone, I think, right? Mine is a double T-zone. Because I went middle and another cross. Make sure your nose isn't all shiny. People get on you for it. You know, say, that's not a good point you made on there, JR. Your nose is shiny. You guys are picky like that sometimes. I think that's about it, fellas and ladies. See you guys next time. Bitsies.
All right, welcome back. Not a show left. Let me read a couple of these comments. Dream_M_R_76. Somebody's mad at that shrinkflation hit them thin mints.
Oh my.
Love them thin mints, man. Damn it.
Oh, they're delicious.
Yeah. All right. And then Creative Days with Dashani. Welcome to Indisputable. We thank you for joining. Okay. North Carolina school teacher utilizes a racial slur, dares the student to get him fired over. Put up the picture full mass here. All right. So we'll see what happens after this. North Carolina, Archer Lodge Middle School science teacher Michael Melchior has been accused of using the N-word in class. Michael decided to threaten the student's family as well. The incident took place on April 16th, allegedly. The student's mother, let's put her up, Whitney Dean. So Miss Dean goes on WNCN News, that's a local affiliate. Quote, the teacher decided to use the N-word in class. Other things happened prior to that with the students, but I feel it's irrelevant because he's the adult in the situation. Boom, there it is. You're absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. He's the adult. He is the adult. Now, Dean's daughter recorded the teacher while the camera is pointed toward the ground, and you can hear clearly, quote, I dare you to get me fired. If she got me fired over saying that word, and I'm out of this school after 16 years, I would hunt your family for the rest of your life. End quote. You never, quote again, you never know I was around, but I'll be doing stuff to make your life miserable all your life. And then the team was like, go ahead. If you frog it, leap. In other words, can we just pause on that for a minute? Him supposed to be in jail, okay? He just threatened to harm an entire family. I get it, the racist thing, yeah, you get fired for that. You gotta go. You teach black students and you're saying the N-word and daring them to do something about it, you gotta go. But the rest of your commentary, sir, that's criminal, in my opinion. Dean is appalled, all right? Ms. Dean is appalled by the teacher's behavior, saying that she has taken additional security measures at her home. Because remember, the teacher said, if you get me fired over this, I'm gonna hunt you. WRAL reported her daughter has not returned to class since the incident. Quote, we've had run-ins with him in the past with things that he said that are disrespectful and a bit racist, such as calling my son a thug and referring to the kids as a monkey. End quote. She explained this on WNCN. Dean wants the teacher to be terminated and pointed out that her other child has had similar interaction with him. It's unclear if the teacher remains at the school, but he told the outlet that there's two sides to every story. He still appears to be a staff member based on the school's website. Archer Lodge Middle School Principal Matt Johnson. Matt, sir, you have until next week before I believe that you co-sign on this madness. We will be expecting a statement on Monday. Sharing thoughts.
I hear a sociopath, and I'm not even sure if I got the right path, but I hear the very dangerous person, and I'm finding that first and foremost, safety is the issue. After that, liability. I hope they give you the statement. I hope they do.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, Morehouse in Atlanta, Georgia, one of the most prestigious colleges, especially as it relates to the development of black male scholars. Well, the president of the institution is grilled by the students because he signed off on having President Joe Biden be the commencement speaker in the midst of the policy Biden supports, the policy of killing innocent individuals in Gaza. Here it is.
Right now, I'm being told that we need to use our platform as Morehouse men. Why are we using it to support someone who hasn't been supporting Palestine and Gaza and things like that? How are we being global cosmopolitan citizens? What precedent does that set for freshmen?
There's a possibility of a genocide happening. And we're seeing our government continually sending more and more weapons, 2,000-pound bombs that are being dropped on whole neighborhoods, schools being destroyed, hospitals being destroyed.
You condemn what's happening, man. children is dying, innocent people being blown up, and you can see the videos and you can't deny the video. And we don't condemn that. We say, well, the world might not see it as, oh, we complicit. You know, we see it as complicit. We the students telling you, we see it as that's being complicit. Do y'all see that as complicit?
Yes, sir.
Yes. That's complicit. That's complicit in genocide. Do you think it's a genocide or not? Let me just ask a question everybody wants to hear. Do you think it's a genocide or do you not think it's a genocide what's happening in Gaza? Simple yes or no. That's all I want. Yes or no. Is it a genocide or not? Of your personal, professional opinion, as an educator, as a man in this country, what do you think? Are the people of Gaza being genocided or are they not?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Put them up full mass. I was just on the campus of Morehouse a few months ago lecturing to students. I may not be invited back after this reporting. I'm okay with that. I stand with the students of Morehouse. I stand with the students who care about people. Morehouse President David A. Thomas. He's a good brother, actually. I'm not sure why he's making this decision. According to Atlanta Capital B News, Morehouse College students packed the campus auditorium Tuesday evening to voice their anger to Morehouse College President David A. Thomas at the decision to invite President Joe Biden to deliver the historically Black institutions commencement address next month. Most of the estimated 50 students in attendance at Tuesday's meeting expressed outrage and frustration at Biden's support for Israel in its war against Hamas. The conflict has killed more than 34,000 Palestinian civilians since October. I want to remind you that 70% are women and children, okay? Always remember, they are not at war with Palestinians, at least not so allegedly. Students who spoke Tuesday expressed horror at the images of dead Palestinian women and children and that they've seen on social media. Only one student in attendance defended Biden's scheduled appearance. So I'm worried that giving Biden a platform at Martin Luther King Jr.'s alma mater could damage the school's reputation. I want you to think about the numbers here, okay? Out of every student that was there, there's only one student that gave some level of support for Biden being on campus. This is not a day for Biden. Mr. President, put up the president again. To the president of Morehouse, brother, you know I love you, brother. And I love you enough to tell you the truth. The vast majority of your students, they have something that I think some people lost along the way. They still have heart. They are not making political considerations. They are not measuring their words. These are good young men, and they are our future leaders. Graduation, as you are well aware, Mr. President, is for the students. It memorializes an accomplishment of 4 or 5, hell, some of them been there 6 years to get this undergraduate degree. Biden, as you know, they contacted you. They contacted Morehouse because he needs some push in the Black community. In other words, the administration needs a pawn. They need someone that'll play the game. Where's the policy? Where's the check? Thomas made it clear during the emergency town hall meeting that he won't rescind his invitation to Biden despite backlash from students and faculty over the preceding 24 hours. At HBCUs, no classes have been canceled, and there's no indication that Thomas's job is in jeopardy at Morehouse still. The angle of Biden's visit reflects a political challenge to a president whose re-election, hopes might ride on Black voters. It rode on Black voters for him to get in. Many of whom disagree with his policies on the war. One young man questioned whether Thomas would benefit financially from Biden's visit. Quote, I want to know if you've been paid to provide Biden a platform to address the student body. The student said, I have not been paid. I have not been bought, Thomas answered. The question is an insult, but because you are a student here, I owe you the opportunity to do it, but I'm going to call it out, end quote. At least 2 students who spoke Tuesday worried that Biden could use Morehouse as a campaign backdrop to help him win over black voters in a battleground state. One called the speech an easy photo op for the president, comparing it to an appearance by former President Donald Trump at a nearby Chick-fil-A 2 weeks prior. But Thomas defended the stance, suggesting that a presidential visit underscores the school's stature as an elite institution rather than undermining it. Quote, we have a platform at Morehouse that the world pays attention to, and we call people to that platform who are important people in the world, he said. The President of the United States is one of those people. Mr. President, I have a question for you, sir. Would you say the same thing if it was Trump that was president? Let's have intellectual integrity about it. Would you say the same thing if Trump were president? Once again, dear brother, you know I love you. Multiple AUC students, and I must disclose, I am a professor at the AUC. Multiple AUC students told Capitol B Atlanta they intend to protest during Biden's planned visit, including Morehouse Junior Daxton Pettis and Spelman freshman Hatim Mondali. Both Pettis and Spelman are activist members of the Student Intercommunal Coordinating Committee, SIC, who participated in Tuesday night. There was a candlelight vigil at Spelman in support of oppressed people in Sudan, Congo, Haiti, Gaza. Mondali said if the election were held today, she would simply choose a third-party candidate over Biden. You know, many people would probably choose the third party of just staying at home. You know, I'm encouraged by the leadership of these students. You're doing the right thing. You know you're doing the right thing. I'm happy that you are my future leader, that you are our future leaders, all right? Stick to your guns. You're on the right side of right. History will judge you very well for it. Sharon, thoughts here?
To both presidents, I'm appalled here. And to these great young leaders at Morehouse, these Morehouse men, keep going. Take over the Democratic Party. And then we won't have to worry so much about the usury where a president picks up the phone. And I think he's a great guy too, but he's wrong on this. The other thing, Doc, and I'll leave it at this, it's not going to be a great photo op for this president. No. I assure you, this will not be a great photo op. So he's stepped in it.
Yep. We'll bring you the update when that comes, because you are correct. Sharon, always a pleasure having you on the program. Tell people how they can follow you, check out your great work.
At Sharon Reed Live across all platforms, Rebel HQ, powered by the great TYT network. I hope you'll check out my latest offerings.
As always, fascinating work you do. We thank you for your leadership and your commentary. All right, remember, take care of yourself, take care of each other, take care of the planet. Remember, the truth is always indisputable.